area of sustainable tourism, service, marketing, tourism, entrepreneurship, organization changes, and management practice. Held as an esteemed position in ATRACRIT and has published many papers in national and international level in his vast area of teaching. He is a good researcher in his field of specialization and has published multiple journals and chapters in the book, which has innovative proceedings. I once again welcome all for our Day 4 online international conference on innovative challenges in multidisciplinary research and practice.
So welcome, sir. You proceed, sir.
Hi. Thanks for the opening remarks. Let me share my screen first.
Yes, sir. So you are visible, sir.
Okay. Let me just share screen. So are you able to see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
PPT is visible, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So thanks to respected participants. Okay, I will be talking about, as mentioned earlier, the relationship of sustainable tourism and pragmatism. Okay, pragmatism is basically mixed method. Okay, I remember talking here exactly 1 month ago. Okay, on a general perspective of mixed method and pragmatism. This time around, I was thinking to expand, leverage a bit more from my previous presentation, focusing more on a specific discipline, in my case, sustainable tourism. Okay, so yes, my name is Puvaneswaran, and uh, Taylor's University. I'm also a certified action learning coach. Basically, we try to implement problem solving in organizations by doing group coaching. And yeah, a little bit of my profile. Um, I did my first degree in business admin from University Putra, Malaysia. I'm from Kuala Lumpur. I was born and raised in Kuala Lumpur. And So this university is basically in Kuala Lumpur. It's a government university. It's a top university, um, and it's a research university in Malaysia. That's the reason that some of us from Taylor's, if you see, I mean, uh, the topic of research is in our interest. Okay, and I did my Master of Science in Tourism and PhD Tourism, focusing on community development. Okay, I'm also a treasurer of this international organization, ASEAN Tourism Research Association, which has got 10 countries. This is like the coalition of Bay of Bengal, which has got India, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. I think 2 ASEAN countries are also there, Myanmar, or even Thailand. So this is a very good organization if you want to explore more on ASEAN tourism in ASEAN. So we anchor from Taylor's. We anchor this research association. So, okay, tourist arrival tremendously affected because of COVID-19, and this is the most fragile industry as compared to other industry. We are lucky to be in education industry. I believe the lockdown is again extended in Tamil Nadu. I believe, but I think not much of. There are some impacts on education, but we can still convey, we can still talk to our students, we can still teach because of virtual platform. However, tourism not possible. Of course, there is virtual tourism. There are some tourism products you can just enjoy while sitting at home, but that is not effective. The main tourism business, okay, is when a traveler is allowed to travel freely to another place. I will just summarize this. It's mentioned by United Nations World Tourism Organization (UNWTO). The industry is going to suffer up to 80% reduction in tourist arrival. Meaning, if a particular hotel was expecting 10 million USD revenue, that hotel might only get 2 million this year. If you are earning 10,000 rupees from your tour guiding activity, you are a tour guide. Let's say in Chennai, you are a tour guide. You are expecting monthly salary of 10,000. Now you'll be getting 2,000 rupees per month. That's quite bad. Okay, that's in the worst case scenario. Okay, and what is the need for sustainability? All these things happen. The issue of the disease. Okay, the pandemic started from China. Everything is from a single reason: sustainability. Are we doing development in a sustainable way? If people believe in sustainability, no matter tourism or education, politics, sports, if we can maintain sustainable development, we can reduce this kind of issues in future. So what is sustainability? Is the ability to be maintained at a certain level or rate. You look at this graph, world population in 1950s, like 2.5 million as compared to close to 10 billion, 2.5 billion to 10 billion in 2050, and it can go even higher. Okay, and but the resources are the same. Okay, people are competing among countries are competing for resources, for border issues, resources, popularity, political gain. Okay, so they neglect other aspects. They only concentrate on economic development, right? So the question is, are we sustainable, right? So sustainability pillars, there are three pillars which was established by in Brundtland Commission, United Nations in 1987. The Prime Minister of Norway that time, Dr. Geo Brundtland, okay, raised the issue of sustainability, especially against the Western paradigm, mainly dominated by the capitalism of United States of America, saying that you are a so-called developed nation, you are saying that you are so good, but actually you are economically good. Are you good in your social development? Are you good in your environmental protection? Okay, so that's when UN were very much concentrated. We cannot develop in this rate. We have to consider the social and environmental aspects. These three elements are in whatever field. I'm not so sure about your background, the participants' background today. You might be from engineering, mathematics, psychology, or anything. But I'm sure you come across these elements, the three main pillars, which was started actually in 1987 officially. And we have the recent one, okay, from 2015 to 2030. It's a 50 years plan. 1987 with the three pillars. Then the year 2000, we had the Millennial Development Goals. There were 10 goals, and slowly developed. In 2015, we had clearer 17 goals. We need to take consideration into these goals for us to have a peaceful world, for us to have a well-balanced development. If your kid is asking you tomorrow, it's going to ask you tomorrow, Dad, you're so rich, you have 2 cars, you have 3 houses, but I'm not so close to you. What is your answer to your kid? So was your development a well-balanced development? Is your career, is your lifestyle a well-balanced lifestyle? Same thing that is happening now. So if you look at these goals, United Nations mentioned that whatever development that you do, make sure you have these 17 goals, these relevant goals. Countries, please consider these. Look at the goals. Number one, no poverty. You're so developed. So what? People are dying. because of poverty. No hunger. People are dying without food. What kind of development you're talking about? You're driving a superb car. But how about certain number of people in the community? Uh, Good health, quality education, gender equality. Look at these first five elements, everything relevant to social development. In 1987, Dr. Brundtland, United Nations went towards sustainability because of environmental protection. They were worried about environmental issues because development was so rapid. They were destroying nature heavily to gain economic development. So environmental was the highlight. And in 2015, environment was not our primary focus anymore. We were very much concentrated on people. Okay, people are suffering. Okay, and clean water sanitization, renewable energy, and other goals might be relevant to you as well. And why, even in tourism, why? What is the need? Okay, this is sustainability. And when I relate back to tourism, why we need sustainability in tourism? Mainly, mass tourism has been dominating the industry for years, for decades. And we cannot blame mass tourism. Mass tourism means a lot of people going into a single destination, groups, big groups going to a particular single destination, a beautiful destination, and they destroy the place within 10 years. Why job? Why governments support mass tourism? Because of job opportunity, money, tax for the government, for the people, for the travel in the, organizations. These are the benefits. And this is in China when I was there just before the pandemic started, end of December. This particular village, I'm doing a research there as well, my PhD student. This old lady here, she said she support tourism because many years she lived in the village, no proper house for her. Suddenly, the government went to that place and they detected there's a potential of tourism development. Okay, the villagers get houses like this. So tourism also brings in positive impacts like development of facility in rural area. This is just a picture. It's not only in China. It's happening in all the countries. I believe also in India, infrastructure developed in the rural area because of tourism. And look at the negative elements of tourism. There is pollution. Tourist cause pollution. And this picture here, this lady with these three kids, this is pro-poor tourism. It's questionable whether, okay, of course, this lady is going to give some money to the people in the slum area because she's visiting there, see their lifestyle. Okay, she snap a picture, she's going to throw 10 USD. But what is the impact? This kid's going to ask the parents later, Daddy, why are you not like the auntie? The auntie is having a nice phone. I think it's iPhone. Can you buy iPhone? Why are you so poor? Come on, it's going to create negative impact to the community as well, right? So we need to understand the contemporary market. The market has changed. People would want to travel to a destination just to snap a picture to post on Instagram. And that leads to over tourism. If you have time, you may want to read the theory of tourist gaze by Prof. John Urry, one of the most established theory in tourism. Okay, it's a 3 decades theory. It mentions that how we need to understand how tourists are changing. Current type of tourists, they want to travel, they want to experience themselves. They are bored to see Eiffel Tower in Hollywood movies or from YouTube. They want to travel and they want to experience themselves tourism, and this leads to over tourism in certain destinations. If you see Rome, Everest, Machu Picchu, Amsterdam, Venice, you see like Venice, local residents are only 54,000 as compared to 26 million tourist arrival. This is like how many times bigger, and you cause destruction in the area. Even in India, you might have seen some destination, okay, a rural destination, low population, but 100 times more tourist arrival. It's good, economically good for the local people, for the local government, for the government of the country. But imagine the impact and well-being of the local people, right? to send their children to school, which is like 3 kilometers away, might take maybe 1 hour during peak season. Heavy tourist arrival, tourists make the place so congested, the local people cannot even go to the destination in time. Okay, Barcelona 4 million versus 10 million. There are protests going on. We also highlight. I told you about ATRA during through our networking. We also highlight to the ministers of ASEAN. We did this in also January this year. You need to go on a sustainable way. You cannot be doing this just to get money. Okay. If you know Boracay Island in Philippines, it was closed down for 6 months because of heavy pollution. They closed down the island for 6 months because it was heavily polluted. Okay. And I don't know whether this is good news or bad news because of COVID-19. These places, ready to die places, Venice, this is Langkawi in Malaysia, Eiffel Tower, Paris, this is definitely India. Lot of tourists every day and can cause destruction. Okay, and because of COVID-19, no tourists going there now. A little bit of breathing space. And of course, tourism industry is heavily suffering now because of COVID-19, loss of jobs, loss of tourists. We were expecting about 1.6 billion tourists this year. Forget about the business. 1.1 billion tourists are not traveling, and money loss and 100 million tourism jobs at risk. I told you this is the most fragile industry. So, going into research perspective, you may want to not too much to worry. If you read studies, I mean, people can get worried. Our students can get worried. Am I going to get a job? No. According to catastrophe theory by Mao during SARS in this region, of course, it was not too bad like COVID-19 now. SARS also was quite bad, but not too bad. It depends on recovery period and policy implementation of the government. But the industries will bounce back. And this is not the first time we see this kind of pandemic. Researchers and history uh, clearly explain to us that World War II, World War III, World War II, World War I, World War II, SARS, I told you, MERS in the Middle East, Ebola in Africa, recession, 1988, 2003, 2009, terrorism, okay, Sri Lanka attack, Bali bombing, Mumbai attack, okay, we will bounce back. But this time it's going to take some time, okay. I will skip on the tourism part a little bit. So the industry is opening up. Okay, China has reopened 1st May. For the first 5 days, 1st May to 5th May, China reopened for tourism. 105 million people traveled. 105 million people traveled in China. That's like 10% of their, close to 8 to 10% of their population traveled during this period of time. Close to 8%. It's a big number. So the industry will bounce back. This is Disneyland in Shanghai. Okay, this is the first or second day when the tourism is reopened. So the industry will bounce back. You cannot make people sit at home. They are not scared. They will have to. The authorities have to prepare the measures. But can we use the existing sustainable tourism items? I'm back to research now. Before COVID-19, if a student would want to ask me, sir, I want to do a research on sustainable tourism. Okay, there are 3 pillars. Okay, economic, socio-cultural, and environment by United Nations. Okay, you do your research based on that. But is it valid now? The industry is so different, right? Tourism is so different after COVID-19. So we need to rethink our research philosophy. I think I explained this in the previous session. I would like to quickly go through. What is paradigm? Paradigm is your belief. What is your belief in your research? Some of us believe, our philosophical belief of paradigm can be objective. We are very much objective, so we are positivists. Some of us believe in multiple realities. Okay, so we belong to constructivism or qualitative. Some of us believe in both, so we belong to pragmatism. Okay, so as I mentioned, Positivism, I think this is the dominant paradigm. This is the most dominant paradigm in research. You believe in numbers. This is where your PLS, your SPSS, your IV, DV, independent variable, dependent variable, multiple regression, correlation, ANOVA, you believe in numbers. Okay, you want to do a study on sustainable tourism, you take the 3 pillars, economic, social, cultural, environment, or you take the 17 SDGs to do a research on sustainable development. If you are from education background, you can do on sustainable education. If you are from sustainable, if your background is psychology, you can do something on sustainable psychological perspective. It depends your studies. Okay. Okay. So that's the thing. Okay. And interpretive social sciences. Okay. Qualitative. You believe in subjective paradigm. Okay. Um, you don't have single answer. I'm sure there are qualitative professors here. Okay. If somebody asks you, Professor, why you think our lockdown is not successful? Okay, your answers you might give 10 answers. You don't have single answer. That is qualitative. Qualitative people like that. You ask them one question, they will talk to you about the answers like for 30 minutes or 1 hour. They will give you 10 different answers. Quantitative people, one question, one answer, sharp. I'm gonna go. That's it. That's my answer. Okay, that's the truth for them. Mixed method people, I'm slowly bringing you to a mixed method, pragmatism, which is what I'm going to talk to you today. Don't be so rigid. Okay, you can have qualitative and quantitative in the same paradigm, right? And of course, there are different paradigms. There are feminists here. You believe in feminism, you believe in critical theory, chaos theory, you believe in unrelated incidents. You may want to read this more because of time limitation. I just go to the dominant paradigms. I think I told you about positivism. Okay, mainly the big scholars are like Newton. I'm very sure you know about Newton's law and all. Interpretive is constructivism, qualitative here. So basically, this is quantitative, this is qualitative. So if you do qualitative, you may want to go into the community, you sit, you talk to them, you be one of them. You may want to do like ethnography, phenomenology, grounded theory. Okay. You see countries like I think New Zealand very much into research in new. If you see here, well known for qualitative because they don't rush things. They want to really understand, so they can do a research for 10 years. They really sit with the community. When you do studies like indigenous, I did study on indigenous people, so I do qualitative. I have to be one of them. I cannot just bring a questionnaire on sustainable tourism, ask the people, like, can you answer, are you sustainable economically? Okay, like a scale 1 to 5. No way. So I have to do a qualitative study with them. I can also do a quantitative study, right? Develop a questionnaire. But I cannot do that easily simply because I am a pragmatist. Pragmatism doesn't belong to any one system, but it's a combination of qualitative and quantitative. So during this period of time, COVID-19, okay, if you are taking existing, my main idea for the talk of the day today is whether our existing literature is relevant. Okay, whether our existing literature is relevant. Let's say you are in the field of education, you've been studying on academic excellence of students, and you use a theory, a very well established theory by John 2002. In the theory, there are three variables to measure success, academic excellence. Number one, parents' involvement. Number two, university resources. Number three, the capability of the student himself. Let's say somebody is talking. So let's say there are three variables by the past studies. But can you use these variables? These variables are developed before COVID-19. Now COVID-19 has reformed the whole education industry. Everybody is going to go virtual. So you may want to explore first, mixed method. You may want to use sequential exploratory design. You may want to collect a qualitative, you want to explore first. The situation is not the same. You cannot use the existing questionnaire. You cannot use the existing tool to collect your data. That's my argument today, right? So I have 5 PhD students now working on sustainable tourism. So I throw the question to them. If you want to collect your data, you are using a framework of United Nations 2015 SDG 17. Is this relevant in the contemporary world? Is the industry same? Is tourism same now? We are talking about new norms. So you have to do a qualitative study to understand the new sustainable tourism spectrum and develop the questions. Of course, you can take some questions from past studies. Then you develop your new tool, collect data. Okay. So a mixed method, okay, is a combination of qualitative and quantitative in a single study. Data are collected sequentially or concurrently. You can call the one that I just explained to you was sequential. You do qualitative first, then you do quantitative, or you can do together same time. Sequential exploratory, sequential explanatory, concurrent triangulation. Now I will go through this with you. As I just said, COVID-19 best way to do research now. Okay, do a qualitative data collection. Let's say you are doing a study on political, let's say this election very soon in in your country. So you want to do a perception study. Which party is going to win? Can you take the existing variables in the past study? You tell me. Can you take the situation in January this year was so different as compared to now? Now you might see some politicians working very hard to help the people because of COVID-19 situation. Now you might see some politicians might have disappeared. Some parties might have disappeared fully because of COVID-19. So the situation, political arena, political platform has changed. Thus, you better do a qualitative study, talk to the key informants, talk to the top political scientists to collect some qualitative data. From there, develop your quantitative questions rather than taking merely rather than blindly taking a set of qualitative questions from a well-established journal. You cannot do that now. And when you do these kind of things, your data is valid. Okay, qualitative, then quantitative. Little is known about the research problem because of COVID-19 intervention recently. This is for any industry. You can be in psychology, tourism, politics, political science, or anything. Sport science, sport has changed now. There is no cricket for the past 2-3 months or what. Now it's slowly starting going to start. So what is the perception, right? So qualitative study explores, identifies, and can provide clarity about the new situation, what is happening now. COVID-19 is very much new. Okay. The next one, sequential explanatory. What you can do, you are so adamant, I don't want to explore the problem. I just want to take existing measurement from the past studies. I want to collect data. But after collecting data, I want to collect qualitative data. So I want to collect data, quantitative data first, take the analysis. I do a study, got to know that the politicians, 70% of the politicians are performing well during COVID-19. Okay. So I take this quantitative data, I go to talk to several political experts in the country to verify my data. Dear Prof, you are a top political scientist in the country. I did a study recently using a tool by Allen 2015. I just want to verify this data. I got output of 70% of the politicians are performing well. What is your perception, Prof? Then the key respondent going to give you some ideas. Okay, I agree with the data. Yes, I believe this is blah, 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 blah. So you combine the data, interpret your data. Okay. So quali first, quanti, then quali. That is sequential explanatory. And the last one is concurrent triangulation design. You do qualitative and quantitative at the same time, and this is triangulation. You triangulate your data. It can be also researcher triangulation. Let's say you have a friend, quantitative professor, okay, and you are a qualitative person. You say, okay, we are going to collect data same time. We want to see the perception of people about the local politicians. I do quantitative, you do qualitative. After 1 month, we meet up, we discuss our data, triangulation. That is concurrently collected. Okay, collecting both quantitative, qualitative data, collecting these data at the same time, analyzing quantitative and qualitative separately. Right? Example, collect survey data and collect individual interview, then compare the results. Some countries, some researchers are doing that to have solid data set. Okay. Okay, I'm towards the end. So why we have to do mixed method? In my case today, I was talking about sustainable tourism. You can also try to do this in your particular discipline. Like I mentioned, political science. I'm not sure you're from various background, political science, psychology, or any type of studies that you are involved. It increases the validity of your finding, because now your whatever research that you are doing now might be questionable if you are using the existing tool to measure. If you are using the existing way to collect data, existing tool to collect data, people are no top journals might question you. Okay, you collect data now, okay, but your tool is before COVID-19, pre-COVID-19 tool you used. How relevant is your data? Now the world has changed. You have to use a different tool now, right? So that's when you can use mixed method. It can result in a better data collection instrument. Like what I said, for example, it is often helpful to conduct focus group to inform the development. You can have a focus group discussion first. So let's say you have an instrument. You have an instrument of sustainable tourism with 3 pillars. You can bring the questionnaire and talk to a group of key respondents to verify your instrument. That's your qualitative research ready. Qualitative data. From there, you improvise the instrument, meaning you are changing, you are modifying an improvement from your qualitative feedback. And you have a solid instrument now. Now you go and do quantitative study. Okay. It promotes greater understanding of your finding, of course. Now, for an example, let's say quantitative data shows an increase in the number of alcohol-related arrests of teenagers over the past 6 weeks during the restricted movement period. Okay. This increase might be due to increased use among the population, or maybe simply reflect a decision by the police department to track down public use. So you have some data saying that alcoholism is on rise, but you want to verify is it correct or not during MCO. So you can have a conversation with the police chief in your state to verify the data. This is sequential explanatory. You have the quantitative data, you do qualitative later. Of course, it offers something for everyone. It can satisfy the qualitative people and also quantitative people by being a pragmatist. You want to read further, you can, I think I explained, I showed this book earlier in my previous session as well. Presswell, if you want to know more about pragmatism. Thank you. I believe we have Q&A now. Over to you, Dr. Anuradha.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Participants, any queries? You can ask your queries. Can we just wait for some questions, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.